It seems that this day and age, we're taught to think that basically your feet shouldn't be a mode of transportation. That covering any distance over a mile seems impossible. That the only mode of transportation should be your car, anything but running. Crossing a distance such as 100 or more miles should be done in a vehicle, a plane, not a pair of shoes. But that's where our story begins. With a couple of people who thought, why not test what we can do in a pair of running shoes?
This is the route from High Point State Park down to Cape May State Park. It is a total of 184 miles. The route pretty much goes directly through the center of New Jersey. It looks like pretty much a straight shot, but looks can be deceiving because a lot of these points on this map are 0.3 miles in a turn, 0.4 miles in a turn. I'll run for 17 miles and then there'll be a turn around a bend. So the days before I actually start this race, I'm gonna have to pre-route it because it will be a long, taxing run. There will be low visibility at times. Hopefully the weather holds up, but the less I have to think, the better off I will be. On August 30th, 2014, I was rushed to the hospital, went to the ER. I had multiple blood clots in my body, one in my leg and 2 in the lungs. They put me in ICU. The doctors came in, they started speaking to me about different scenarios, why this was happening to me, and it terrified me. I was overweight, I wasn't feeling well. I let other priorities in my life take over my health. And at that time, when I was scared, I started to think about my family, particularly my wife and my son. And I knew I didn't make some changes in my life. So I started to think about different ways that I could get healthy again. And I used to run ultramarathons, any race greater than 26.2 miles. I've always had a dream of running my home state of New Jersey, from its northernmost tip to its southernmost tip. So I started researching and found out it was about 184 miles. And started out thinking that's a huge feat to accomplish, and became obsessed with it.
5 years ago, my brother, he basically signed me up for a half marathon, and I did that with him, you know, training for it, and I really liked the training, you know, like and everything like that, like creating a schedule for myself and setting a goal and really going for it. But so I like that. I did a Tough Mudder and the half marathon, and then I just thought, let me see, you know, like, can I do something more? You know, like, can I push myself a little further? I like that about running.
When I was a kid, my brothers and I, and even a cousin, we were always trying to get in the Guinness Book of World Records. So everything we did was, you try to fly a kite for 3 days. You tried to play war for as many days as we could. And then, like, elementary school field day, I wasn't good at anything. So they put the people that aren't good at anything in the distance run. And I wasn't very good at that either. So I trained. So that's a long time ago.
I was surprised when I was asked to film Ryan running 184 miles. But I was even more surprised when other people wanted to join. Anthony and Connie decided to run it with him, and that was very inspiring to me. As a filmmaker, I never thought I would be put in the position to film 3 people running the entire state of New Jersey. But as we went along in the process, I realized that this is not only a film about running, it's a film about hope and inspiration, and also some of the greatest people you could ever meet.
I ran my first marathon in 1997, which is the New York Marathon. just because I wanted to run across the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. I could see the bridge from my bedroom window and see the lights at night, and I thought, yeah, I want to run across that bridge. And I ran my first ultra then a few years later because I figured I'm probably not going to be getting a whole lot faster, but I can always try to go farther. I was just curious about running farther, so I ran my first ultra in 2002.
So I guess 2011 is when I ran my first ultra, and I didn't finish. So I went back in 2012 to finish, and it was the race down in the Keys, and the race director there, Bob Becker, a fantastic guy, he actually met with me after the race and sat down in a coffee shop and told me that, you know, my time was actually pretty competitive and I should think about maybe running another ultra at some point.
I had gotten in a really bad car accident in 2007 and my car hit an S-curve. I flipped it over in the median on a major highway. I had 7 skull fractures. They had to medevac me to the hospital. At that time they had told my parents they weren't sure if I was going to make it. I had some blood on the brain, broken toe, broken nose, 11 days in the hospital, and then I did 6 months of all kinds of different therapies. I had some bad nerve damage to my eyes. They weren't sure if I'd be able to see again. So I've had 3 surgeries on the one eye, and I was able to walk again, and it was just really amazing to be able to survive that. And I sat around kind of just feeling sorry for myself about everything that I was going through, and it just got really, really heavy. A friend of mine grabbed me and said, let's go running. Then when I could do my first mile, I just was like, I'm gonna sign up for a 5K. And then I did a 5K, and I'm like, 10K, and it just kind of progressed from there. And now I have my sights set to do all the world marathon majors. There's a sense of accomplishment, even at the smallest thing, like being able to run a mile. It's so rewarding to cross any type of finish line, any type of record, and just be positive with it. So it's really just taught me that I can do anything I want to do.
I was a fat kid at age 13. I had gone to 13 schools prior to my 14th school, and I had gotten lazy, and it showed. No skill development, and I shied away from doing something because it didn't feel good. So reality set in 8th grade. The new school required all boys to go out for strenuous athletics after school. The cross-country coach was the most lenient, and you could lie to him and tell him that you were going to run on some horse trails in the woods, and all you did is jog 200 yards and hide out in the woods. I did that for the first 2, but on the 3rd day, an older kid that I liked came up to me. He said, Galloway, you're going with us today. So I went out with him for the first 200 yards and was going to grab my hamstring and say, I can't go on. But they were funny. They told jokes, they started telling gossip about the teachers and some of the other kids, and they were fun, and I wanted to be a part of this. And I felt better in my spirit and in my head than I had ever felt in my life. And the friendships I was developing were just really true, honest friendships.
I got married and had babies and got fat and ended up not running for almost 10 years. And then, you know that you're overweight and you probably should lose some weight, but when you see like a picture, it seems like it's magnified or something. And so I decided to start running again to lose weight and feel better. I was depressed at the time anyway, and I lost about 80 pounds. And then did my first marathon maybe 6 months after, after that. Losing the weight wasn't easy. I don't think anything's easy, whether you're, alcoholic and you're trying to quit drinking, or you're, fat and trying to lose weight. I think it's hard. I think at some point I'll get past looking in the mirror and seeing a fat girl. Every now and then I'll look in the mirror and think, you look pretty good, but that doesn't happen all the time.
What made my life change is making the decision to have the weight loss surgery. I made the decision almost 2 years ago, and then with that I had to go through all pre-op testing, and I had the surgery in May of last year, May 13th of 2014. The weight I lost was 165 pounds.
She was 3 months old, and I looked at her and I'm like, what kind of mom am I going to be? I can't drive myself anywhere, I can't do anything, I'm so huge. I weighed 328 pounds, so I went for the surgery on August 27th, 2013. And then as of today, I've lost 144 pounds.
About 18 months after surgery, I finally decided to start doing something, and I started the Couch to 5K program. And It made me feel like I could do it, you know? I never ran in my life. I'm almost 45 now. I was almost 44 when I started it. And it made me feel like I could actually run. Even though the first day I went out there, I couldn't even run for 60 seconds without wanting to pass out.
This group is absolutely amazing. They're true friends and family. If I wasn't with them, I don't know if I would have gotten as far as I've gotten.
Well, right now we're starting off, it's November. The actual run will take place starting on August 31st, 2015. I think it's important to film this and show the gradual process of accomplishing a goal that isn't normal. When you set out to do something that is so extreme, like running 184 miles, it gives people inspiration to take their life back and get healthy again. Get up off the couch, get out of bed, rearrange your life so your health is one of your main priorities. You will be happier, you can accomplish great things, and your overall life will just be better.
What is really exciting now is the research on the brain. We have, through the years, theorized that running was simply good for us, but there was no research, and now there is, and what it shows is that running turns on brain circuits for a better attitude, for more vitality, and for personal empowerment better than any other activity that has ever been studied.
I love waking up at like 3:45 in the morning and, you know, heading out like down, you know, one of the causeways for a 50-mile run. It's nice, and you see people and you have things to look forward to, and then you finish that run and you've got this whole day ahead of you where you've already run 50 miles, and at least you've been outside, you've watched the sunrise, you got to see the ocean. You know, it's awesome.
I've always thought I should be able to run 150 miles in a day, like 100, like right that 150, 155 range. I should be able to do that sometime. And if I do get into that range, then I think I'll be happy with that performance. But as far as trying to beat someone, it's not about that. And I'm not doing it to be a millionaire, because you're not going to make any money at it. And I really don't care if anyone even knows if I were to get it. It would be like, whew, I did it. I thought I could do that. But I actually wouldn't even want anybody to know, because then they'd say, how long did you try to do that? And I thought, oh, about 40 years.
So far through the training, I've had some really good days, I've had some bad days. I think it's just me getting used to running as much as I have been. There's been some days where I didn't want to get up, I didn't want to go outside, but I've always known that as soon as you get your feet going, you get one foot in front of the other, your body takes over and you start to feel good again. It's just a very life-altering situation to know that your health is in a very bad state, that you need to make drastic changes if you want to be there for your kid. And I'll never get those moments out of my head.
I woke up one Thursday and I had a pain in my back. So I went to work that day, and by around lunchtime, I was limping noticeably. And by that night, by like 10, 11 o'clock that night, I was in so much pain that I went to the emergency room. I drove myself there, and I couldn't hardly walk. It took them a few days to figure out it was a staph infection, and they started treating me. So I was in the hospital for about 8 days, you know, and I wasn't running, you know, and now all these races I had planned leading up to the JFK 50 were, you know, basically out the door. And so I didn't run for about 3 months.
The overall process is giving me 10 months to work towards the goal. And the closer I get to the goal, the scarier it'll get. But that's the whole point. You're doing something that's not normal. So you have to be able to push yourself past normal. This state doesn't really get a lot of recognition for how beautiful it is. I mean, there's so many different areas of the state that there's mountains, there's farmland, there's all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be a great run.
The scenic route is gonna be gorgeous, and it just means a lot to me to be able to tackle the state that I reside in, that I was born in, and be able to see it from the northernmost tip to the southernmost tip, see the whole state, and have that be part of the accomplishment.
Where do you start at? You usually start here?
I don't even know.
Oh yeah.
So, just real quick, we're going to go up here, do our regular turn up so that we go up the hill, taking that, the 2 bump outs, run to the post office, and then just go to the far street, bring that back right up the river. Really easy.
I love the Ocean Running Club down here. I live about 2 hours away. I just feel like they're there all the time with me. Everybody's so supportive and encouraging, and even when you have a bad run, they turn it into a good run, and we're just all there for each other. It's an amazing sense of camaraderie, and everybody has a story. So we don't judge. You don't know, somebody may take 20 minutes to run 1 mile, but they're still putting forth the same effort as the people who can run a 5-minute mile. So everybody who gets out there, and the club has a firm belief in that, and it's been such an amazing journey to be able to be a part of that.
I was kind of heavy at one time. Joined a group of guys at work. We used to run at lunchtime. Did like 3 to 5 probably initially, and I was like kind of like my start with it, like in '93. I used to drink kind of a lot, never like to the point where I needed a 12-step program to stop, but I used to drink a lot. And I guess it's kind of for me like I think I have like a little bit of an addictive personality. So for the running, it's totally my substitution. It's an addiction for me. It's 3 times a week at a minimum. If I go a couple of days without it, you actually get like a little. Yeah, you get like antsy. Yeah. So it's really become an addiction for me, and it's a passion, I guess.
So it's completely changed your way of living your life every day.
Fully and wholly.
I was overweight and I was married, and he asks me to move out, and I had 5 days to leave the house, and I was in absolute shock, and I started losing weight because I was under so much stress. And I went to the gym and I got a trainer, and I got on the treadmill one day and I said, I'm going to try to run 3.1 miles. And 1 year to the day that he asked me to move out, I ran my first 13.1 miles.
There's always a way to better yourself, which I think is great. And the people, everyone wants to see you succeed, and you don't necessarily have to come in first place. You just have to do good for you. And there's always someone there to help you do that.
Nice job. We are 181 and a half to go.
From a day-to-day standpoint or a week-to-week standpoint, it's nice to have the people who you can call up or go on Facebook and say, oh, let's run a long training run and let's get together. Or let's get together and have a few beers and talk about a training run. Everybody is supportive, whether you're a competitive runner or occasional runner, a new runner, mid-pack, backpack, we're all doing the same thing.
I was so focused on running. My crowd in high school was just my cross-country team. So I didn't get in any trouble. There was no drinking. I'm gonna make sure that, we're not gonna botch up our chance to win state. And so that started at a young age. I think that kept me on a nice path. Running can help you balance your life. That's what it should be. It should help you balance your life. It shouldn't be all about running or all about this, but it is a nice balance. It is a nice crutch. It's been a very, very great crutch for me at times.
On the weeknights, I basically run when the kids and my wife go to sleep, so. I usually will start around 10, and then, I'm usually done by midnight or so, but the one day I really wanted to run, and I knew I had to get mileage, and it was only like a 6-mile run, so I fell asleep with my youngest daughter in her bed. I woke up at like 12:30. I'm sitting there, and I wake up, and I'm like, I can't go back to sleep, and I'm like, you know what, I think I'm just gonna go run. Like, it's just because I'm afraid of this 184 miles, and I figure if I don't put the work in now, I'm gonna get my ass kicked later, so.
I mean, I think it's really difficult to balance everything in life. I work as a physical therapist with children birth to 3 who are developmentally delayed for some reason. And my kids are teenagers, which honestly, the older they get, the easier it gets relatively, because now my daughter can drive. my son to school, so that's taken some burden off. You know, my husband and I, you know, are trying to get time when we can, and then to try to fit in, you know, the amount of mileage just to train is difficult. So it's a delicate juggle and balance, which is sometimes successful and sometimes not. So everyone's supportive, which is great, but there are times where there's just not enough time in the day.
When I started competing in the ultras, I have a couple kids, a couple jobs, trying to get by, single mom. There were a lot of days training for 100 Ks where if I have to do a tempo run and I know there's not going to be time for it, and it's going to be kind of a long run, I could get out of bed at 2 in the morning, run it, come home, get cleaned up, and go open the pool and be a lifeguard at 5 o'clock.
My father died when I was 10 years old, so nobody ever came to my games, ever. And so it was really important to kind of be there as they were growing up so that I could see them, number one, and more importantly, to support them. I was giving to my son something that I never had, which was somebody in the stands that would support them.
He was always adventurous, but he was always good. He was always kind-hearted, and you didn't know he did these crazy things until, like, a neighbor would tell you, you know, a month later, you know, or something like that. Or he would tell me years later. Ma, remember when I said Brendan swam the Seabright Inlet? Well, it was me.
My middle brother, whenever he would whoop on me, I would go get Anthony, and then he was basically my protector until one day Keith whooped him, and Anthony had to step down from that role. Gracefully told me, "You're on your own, brother." But yeah, he was always my protector, and always super loving and nurturing and awesome and great. So I've looked up to him my whole life.
When I was a kid, I never in a million years thought I would ever do anything like this. I mean, I was a chubby kid. I was the fat kid on the baseball team. They made the catcher, okay? So I was never, I mean, I was athletic, but I was always the bigger kid. So running a distance like this was never something that was ever even feasible to me. And to most people, it doesn't seem sane. So no, it's not something I ever thought that I would be a part of.
To think that he would come from a hospital bed to a point of doing something that I would consider not too many people on the planet can do, really a remarkable goal.
Honestly, I was against it. And I was against it because of time-wise. And I knew he was practicing at 2 in the morning. I didn't like the idea of him running in the dark like that and all. Because as a mother, no matter how old your kids are, you're going to worry.
But, you know, you grow, you learn, you experience new people, new things. Some things teach you, and you gravitate towards new goals. And this was something that I think a lot of us thought was pretty cool, and it still is cool.
Deciding to do the run, it wasn't a race. It's not about look at me. It's more about finding what you were all about, and you're just trying to figure out how to run across your state. I thought that was pretty cool. That's what I started doing. That's how I started running long, was just, you try to figure out if you can run to the next town. You try to figure out, you know, how far you can go. And you guys were just you were just wondering about that. I don't know, I think it's a nice positive thing to do. And get your life going in the right direction, moving forward, sense of accomplishment. I wanted to be a part of it.
I think just become friends with people who you would never have met otherwise. And I think in general the running community is, you know, really nice and generous. So I was an Achilles guide for the New York Marathon my husband was commenting about me being all stinky for the car ride home and us trying to find a KOA or something to shower at. And one of the other guys who was an Achilles guide who lived near Central Park said, well, you can shower, you know, at my place after the race or whatever and before on your way home. So I mean, some guy I just met, I know that sounds like it has a whole nother aspect, but it wasn't in that way. It was just in the general guise of, you know, of a nice person offering a shower. You know, but I think people are generous in that way. Runners are happy to, you know, give you the shirt off their back if you're cold and, you know, give you food and, you know, make sure you've got a place to stay sometimes.
I did a 12 on Wednesday, 10 on Monday, I think 7 on, I think it was a 7 or 8 on Tuesday.
How you feeling on those?
Absolutely incredible. I had some issues. It was about like 2 or 3 months ago where I'd be running and it felt like my bone that attaches from my femur to my tailbone. I think that's where it is. It would almost feel like the bones were rubbing. So I would have to stop running and walk for a little bit. Not really stretch, but just walk it out. And then it would go away. But the pain was like insane. So I was actually worried that something was wrong with me. But I haven't had the problem since. So I guess it was just a freak thing. Because you have so much riding on this, you know, you can't get hurt before the run. Because if you hurt yourself, you still got to run it. Because we have so much invested in this.
I think the main thing what running's done for me is it's shown me, you know, like, it's shown me that I can do things that I never thought were possible. I never thought it would be possible to run 50 miles. 5 years ago, I would have said, you know, you're crazy. And it's the same reaction I get from people when I tell them, hey, I'm running a 50 mile or I'm running an ultra marathon. You know, you get these reactions and you know, this pushing myself and stuff, and it's just great for you. And it's great, it carries on past running, it carries on to the rest of your life, your work career, your family, and to me that's, you know, that's the most inspiring thing.
Okay, runners, 3,
follow everybody else.
2,
that's right.
1, go!
This would have been the 4th year I was running this race. I love this race. It was the first trail ultra I ever did. First 50 miler I ever did. Stefan puts on great races. Like, they're all usually German themed because he's from Germany. And the prizes are awesome because he gives out these cuckoo clocks. They're amazing. They're working cuckoo clocks. Like, and I've always wanted to win one. And I tried to win one last year and I got second. You don't get a clock for second. I don't know. So like, you have to start somewhere. Like, if you're training for a 5K, like, it just starts slow and like, you don't have to, no one, you know, people say I'm only running a 5K, but like, you know, it's all relative. You don't have to go run a 50K after that. My life has done a complete 180 actually. Like, I still have my old friends from like, you know, before I started running and like, you know, some college friends and even some friends from high school, but like, all my friends are runners now. It's kind of crazy. Like a motley crew of people who would never, like, otherwise probably have any common interest except for running. The most inspiring thing is, like, if you're, like, driven and you have a goal and you just work for it and, like, there's, like, a fire in you for that goal, like, that's inspiring, you know? It doesn't matter what the distance is.
Everyone's helping each other on the ultra running. It's not about racing, it's about finishing, and everyone wants to see everyone finish.
Suddenly we got a text message from Anthony. He was out in the trails and he let us know that he injured himself.
Yeah, I felt good. I ran most of it, you know, and walked some of the uphills. And felt good, you know. It was cool to see you guys here when I was, you know, like, that was full motivation, you know. I was psyched about that. They don't think it's broken, so that's obviously really good. I mean, that was like my concern at first, you know, like, so, you know, as long as it's not broken, I guess I'll get better. But
You should get an x-ray just to rule it out.
Yeah.
You never know, you could have a hair light. Better to not be out for the next couple of months.
I know,
just
that's
to
a big
finish
concern.
another 15, 20 miles.
Yeah, big picture, right? I guess.
Yeah, exactly, big picture.
And that was it. They both knew there was a bigger picture to this story. The bigger picture of inspiring people. Anthony's injury was a minor setback. Ryan having to run through all kinds of scheduling conflicts is a minor setback. And all of this wasn't necessarily to run 184 miles. I believe firmly now that this was to show people that once you set your mind to something, you can achieve amazing things. You can make yourself better, and you can change people.
We're at the back of my feet. They used to call it the 20 and 24, but it's a 24-hour event. And they have a relay going on. They just finished the 12-hour portion of the relay. But there's guys and girls out here who are trying to run as many miles as they can in 24 hours.
That last lap was tough, but yeah, I feel good. I was like 9th place. I got 50 now. 50? So yeah. I was in 9th place after what? After 35. After 35. I'm like, damn, yeah. I ran with Maggie for the first two when she was flying, and I had no idea how fast I was going. So I feel good, yeah. I need a break now, so I'm gonna take a quick break. But 9 hours, 50 miles, it's not bad, you know. Everything after here is, I've never done it before, so. Oh, it feels good to sit down.
I think it's all mental. I think you, at a certain point, and I probably know this from directing them for over 24 hours, you kind of lose feeling in your feet, you're hurt, you're tired, and it's just how do you mentally get beyond that? I think the physical part is just always going to be there. It's going to be constant. So it's how do you get beyond it? A lot of our runners get a surge during the middle of the night.
But I personally love running at night. It's no sun.
I think you're out there with yourself. And you know, you're more alone, I think, when you're running, and I think it gets a little harder to maybe focus.
I did that Philadelphia race, and you know, I was on my way to getting 100 miles, but I got bit by a dog, so that didn't work out too well. But I was doing really good. I was at like 93 miles with like 5 hours left almost, so like I would have got there.
Good. A little nervous, but that's to be expected. You know. I'm sure Anthony didn't get much sleep last night either. A lot weighing on this, so freaking out a little. So now the family and I are spending our last couple hours together, and then my father and I are gonna head up to High Point.
I don't know. I mean,
she's worried.
Yeah, I'm just worried because of what happened last year with the blood clots, but he's gonna do it anyway, and I just have to deal with it.
I'm just a little stubborn. Throughout the thing, I cut up a ton of watermelon. I got another whole watermelon to cut up just to have. Yeah, got fruits, you know, plums, nectarines, just things to munch on. You know, gauze and sunblock. Obviously sunblock. This for my feet in case this just dries out your feet like crazy. I got you know, like gauze, tape.
And I knew I had everything checked off my list. I had everything, and laying in bed that night, I'm just like, holy shit, you know, like this is serious stuff.
I got the shoes, I got the Ultras. These are beat up. They have like 400 something miles on them, so I think these are the last run for those guys. So these I've been kind of saving a little bit, so they have a little bit more life in them. So I'll keep those. These will be the main ones I run in. For the hydration, I plan on using these guys, the handhelds. This is the main thing I'll use because we plan on having the crew supporting us every like 5 or 6 miles or so. So I could just fill up my water there and be good to go. So I just have
enough what I think I need for the 2 days or so. Yeah, Connie said she's running the whole thing. She's hysterical and she's amazing. Like, she's just like, oh yeah, I needed a long run. Like it's nothing, you know? I think just having her there is gonna make us want to do better and, you know, keep us motivated and keep us going, because I think she is very positive and she's like, I think she's just fun to be around.
We're in High Point. I just got here with my father probably about 10 minutes ago. And you know, the normal jittery, scared feeling you have before you're about to do something that completely terrifies you, where you're like weak in the knees and you know you got butterflies in your stomach. All that's gonna stop as soon as we get going here. In about 45 minutes is our planned time of departure. So yeah, I'm nervous and ready to get this thing going.
We didn't have much time when we got there. We got there and maybe, you know, 5:15, and we were supposed to start at 6. So, you know, and it hit me then too. Like, it's just like these moments where it hits me, and I was just like, holy crap. You know, like, I'm gonna be running for 2 days probably. You know, it was, I don't know, kind of unsettling.
I mean, we were looking around at High Point, and it was such a beautiful evening. Everyone was there, and you're looking out at New Jersey from its highest point, and it's like this all started from just a single idea that inspired a lot of people to get up and do something.
It was exciting to be up there, and because that place is cool. You know, you're sitting up on top of that hill, is the highest point in New Jersey, and you know, basically everything around you is below you, and you're just looking out on that, and you know, talking to Ryan and Connie, like 2 people you respect and you're going to be spending time with, and I don't know, it was exciting.
Drop out of the sky, let's keep our head in the clouds, keep our head in the clouds. You shouldn't think the world's holding down, don't let your mind go to down, remember what I'm telling you, let's keep our head in the clouds, keep our head in the clouds. You shouldn't think the world's holding down, don't let your mind go to down, remember what I'm telling you, let's keep our head in the clouds, looking for another satellite.
When we first started, it was fun at the top of the monument, you know, and the 3 of us running down, that was all cool.
This is a fantastic trek and an adventure and an empowerment, not for yourself, but for those who will learn about this and will really be inspired by it.
It's a huge amount of mileage, 184 miles, and the fact that you guys are doing it and then adding a level of journey to it to bring people in, I think is great. I think anytime you can inspire even one person, you know, you're changing someone's life, so that's huge.
Once we started getting into it, stuff's going to happen. Like, it's nice that you have a plan, you try to set up, you do your best to train. And that's the way I've been running forever. That's the way everyone goes. People are trying to train to run faster, trying to train to run farther. And you set it up the best you possibly can, but then hurdles come in the way. And I've seen it all the time. People will get injured, the weather will change. It's happened to me, it's happened to everyone.
So this was the day you were released, right?
This is the day I went in.
You went in the hospital?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around.
You know Facebook, when they do the year to date?
Yeah.
This happened a year ago. There's a picture of me in the ICU in bed.
You're kidding? Wow. You got a picture of it?
Yeah, my wife took a picture of me.
Oh my gosh. Woo! That was easy.
Doing all right?
Yeah, I feel great.
Downhill's okay?
How are you?
Good.
What you guys do? Hang out?
Yeah,
Nudie bar?
Yeah.
Hey, hold that for a minute. There, I got it.
Yeah. Already got a sore in back leg, but I'm okay.
Get Vaseline. I'm good to go. I think I'm all right now.
No cracker.
So far, so good. What you call me?
Do you want a cracker?
Oh, no. No, I'm good.
How's it been so far? Fun. Really good conversation. Yeah. Taking it easy.
It seems like you're running a pretty decent pace.
We're running between 9:30 and 10, which is, I told him it's a little quick.
Yeah.
We'll end up slowing it down. Otherwise, I'm going to break away.
What'd you eat?
Yeah. Want potatoes?
So we started at 6 o'clock. We took off down, you know, off a High Point and running, like, I mean, we were in great moods, you know. When you start, you're in fantastic mood, and, you know, everyone's just like, you know, we're joking about everything, and we're going, you know, the first 5 miles went so fast, it feels like, you know, just looking back at it, that it was, you know, it felt great, you know, like, we were moving pretty good because it was mostly downhill, you know, like, so we were running basically the whole time. You know, we were having conversations, it was all going, and he just got really quiet. And I remember thinking to myself at first, there's something wrong, you know, like, you know, I got worried about it. I didn't know if he was just tired or he was going too fast, and, you know, but then, like, about a mile later, he said to us, he goes,
To be completely honest with you guys right now, I don't know if I'd be able to keep pace with you guys until tomorrow. I'm much slower.
The uphills were tough, but we didn't, you know, first 5 miles, a lot of it was downhill, and we were able to run it and feeling pretty good. You know, then it was, you know, probably like 7 miles in or something when
things became stressful for him. So breathing was changing, pace was changing. You could say the stride was shortening, just like going into a bit of a panic mode. And we're all chit-chatting and stuff, but you could see he was getting a little down.
There's a lot of people that have the same frame of mind that I do, that you do believe that you can do whatever you set your mind to do, but when your body doesn't allow you to do that, it's kind of a betrayal that you have no control over. And you have to understand that, yeah, you're not capable of everything, but what you do need to understand is that your body and your health come first, and I didn't do that. I kept that quiet.
we kind of pulled away from him, and because we knew there's, you know, a checkpoint, you know, like we had like a meeting point every like 5 or 6 miles or so, so we know we'd either wait for him there or, you know, he'd catch up, or, you know, at least we knew there was people there to help support. So they asked us when we got there, what, you know, where's Ryan? We told them, you know, I think he's only like a mile or so back.
It's a long uphill. Knew I shouldn't have started with them.
Well, what's the story, man?
I'm fine. I'm just fucking regaining what I lost going up those hills with them.
So yeah, so you're feeling good though?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's really good.
There are times where I'm weak. I mean, just like everybody else who's running ultra, there are times where no matter how strong you are, there are times when you doubt. And there are times when people quit. And I think at some point when you're in that spot, if you can just give it like 10 more minutes, honestly, things will change.
Right now it's probably 9 o'clock.
It's 8:30.
Pretty close.
Yeah. So
I'll be close by.
tell you what, man, he's limping.
Every race is different as far as when you hit some rough patch. I mean, you could be running a 4-mile race and you get into a rough patch and you feel like, why am I out here? And, you know, there's some dark thoughts that go through your head sometimes.
You're not going to be able to do it. I know you want to do it. I know in your head 100 times you've done it. But you got something going on with your leg? Cut it. Do it another day. You want, as soon as I get service, I'll Google where the nearest hospital is. Take you in and have them, just look at it. Do an x-ray up and down.
It's not broken. Nothing's broken. It's just
something's going on.
There's nothing broken. It's just I got pain behind here. Now it's wrapping around this way, and I can't put pressure on it. And I can put pressure walking, but as soon as I start running and put pressure on it, it's not here. Right here.
Your coccyx bone? Oh, underneath.
Yeah, it's in here, right here.
Yeah.
And now it's wrapping around this way.
All right, then you got something going on, right? I mean, when you're walking, I'm watching you when you're walking. Your hips are not moving. You're favoring it. I wouldn't chance it.
I'm fine right now.
Don't feel it.
Nothing.
It's just when you're moving.
Woo! As soon as I put weight on it. The sharp pain up my leg, up my back, and it's like, it's hard to explain. It's like inside my leg, where my leg meets my ass, and then it shoots that way, like this, and then it shoots up my back. All right, let me talk to him for a minute. I figure out what the fuck. I'm not doing this thing, dude. It's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. There's really no way. Like, I can't do this for. Yeah, like I'm saying I can't. I hid the fact that I was injured, and I wanted to tell the truth because, I mean, you could see throughout the film that I wasn't in the shape I should have been in for that run, and I had a lot of pain throughout the training. I would be able to run, you know, decent amount of miles, but not enough miles to get me in the right place to do the run. And I took it upon myself to keep it quiet and put a lot of pressure on myself that I shouldn't have done. And I knew going into that run I wasn't going to be able to do it. When the actual run started, I felt fine, and but I knew eventually something was going to happen. And it was a ticking time bomb for me, and when it did happen, I kept going till it actually broke, till my body broke. And I knew eventually it was going to happen. I didn't think it would be that quickly. But I had a stress fracture in my hip and a torn labrum.
Connie was everything. I mean, think about it. I'm 10 miles into this thing. Ryan can't go on. If I didn't have Connie there, like, I don't know what I would have done. That first night, I mean, it's, you know, now it's like 8 o'clock at night. We're just starting to get into the first night of running. Like, if I didn't have her, I knew we weren't going to see anybody until at least mile like 55, which was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I think I could have got through it, but having Connie there just, you know, number one, it made the time go by faster, and number two, like, I mean, just having someone that's been through it was amazing. Everything she was telling me was, you know, had me laughing, or, you know, just had me, like, you know, in amazement, and, you know, anybody would have been amazing, but, you know, having her there, someone that's such a good runner and such a good person and such a good personality, it meant a lot. we didn't find out till later on that he was hurt and couldn't go on and was, you know, worried about blood clots and all that and had to go to the hospital.
And it's just kind of sad because I've been there before. I've been injured before. I've been in a place before, and you have to pull out. You have to just say, you know, and I'm, you know, you can't take any risks. It's just kind of sad because it was going to be. I thought we had a good group to begin with because we're three very different people, different ages, different personalities, coming from different walks of life, and that's what running. That's what's fun about running. You can run with these people. Some people make no money. Some people are millionaires, and you're all together, and it's just fun, you know. And I thought we had a good mix there.
I looked up to him a lot, and I respected what he was doing with this, and I wanted to do this, you know, with him. You know, like that was my thing. Like I pictured, whenever I thought about this, I pictured us both like, you know, reaching Cape May at the same time, and like just, you know, like knowing what that would mean to me, like I think that probably would have meant more to him, you know, like and I wanted to be part of that, you know, like so when he couldn't go on, I was a little deflated.
The running draws positive personalities, maybe to some degree, especially ultra running. I think you have to have a positive outlook on life to do these races because it's a lot of work and it's a huge thing, but I think what the excitement comes from is just the accomplishment of running such a long distance. You know, there's no doubt that it also has to do with physical strenuous exercise with the body. I think there's a huge physiological effect when you do this kind of strenuous exercise. It positively affects the mind and the mental outlook.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, running brings me such joy and happiness that I would want to share that with others. And if running can be an outlet for other people's happiness, then that's fantastic, and I would want them to have that experience. So to be able to get themselves to a place where they can run or walk, and to be able to tap into some of that joy that I can experience when I'm out there, I think it's great. I think it's really nice.
We started at night, so that was kind of weird because I think it was a good idea, but you know, that whole day I'm basically up. I'm up at like, you know, 7 a.m. with the kids, and so I'm up that whole day, and you know, try to coordinate things with getting Connie there and stuff like that, and meeting her, and then going up to High Point to start. You know, Connie said she was coming, but she just never called us, never texted us or anything that she was coming. So I kind of gave up on that. I'm like, you know, there's no way she's coming. And then I was texting with Maggie, and Maggie told, you know, she's like, oh, I'll reach out to her.
I could have had a little influence from my friend Maggie, yes, that said, oh, this is so cool, you're running across New Jersey, I love these guys. And I thought, oh, okay, that's, I guess I should probably do this. It probably will be fun. You gonna run again?
What?
You running again?
No, I'm smart. Why would I want to do that again?
Yeah.
I feel okay. My knee's a little wobbly at times, but like that worries me a little bit.
Do you need to do anything?
Me? I'm good. I gotta. No, I'm okay right now. I just want to keep going.
Crew's doing well. We're no problem so far. Having a good time.
Peanut butter and jelly. Just trying to down some water. I don't think I'm drinking enough. It's hard, like, you know, that was like a 5-mile stretch, and I went through like 2 bottles there, you know? I think I really need more, you know? 36 miles in. It's amazing. 7.5 hours we did it in. walking mostly uphills. I'm trying to conserve energy. You know, we got to get a long way to go. You ready, kid?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Cool. What's the hardest part about crewing somebody?
Watching them suffer. and you know they're gonna suffer. So I don't know. It's still early on, obviously, but tomorrow I assume when it gets daylight and it gets in the 90s, it's going to be really tough on these two. So
I think this will be delicious. You? No? Probably not. Oh my God, it's amazing. You want a bite?
That's why you run these things, right?
Bite?
Culinary
Sure. Fantastic. I might be getting a little delirious, but it's all right.
Yeah, we ran through the first night, and at mile like 55, we met up with like my sister-in-law and two friends of mine, one person I work with, and they ran the next like 13 miles with us.
So I'm here today to support Anthony on his quest to run 184 miles, and I hope that you know, keep him strong throughout this 12 to 15 mile trek this morning. Keep his spirits high and keep him motivated.
We're hoping to keep him motivated and kind of break things up a little bit so that he has some things to look forward to along the route and people to see.
Just a little blip in the radar compared to what he's doing, but gonna give him some support.
That was pretty cool. I mean, that was the first time I struggled a little bit, but like having them with me helped. You know, that was really neat. And they ran with us to Baker Street, where a lot of my family were, a lot of friends and stuff like that. So we did that, and we were running up to Baker Street, and you know, it was the six of us really at that point, and my friend Devin, you know, who helped us a lot. We were running up there, and everyone was outside the place, and we rounded the corner, and they all just started like screaming. There had to be like 35 people there, and they all had the shirts on, the 184 shirts and stickers, and that really got me emotional, just seeing like my family, my kids, and my wife, and just everyone else being there, you know, to support us. And they were waiting there for like an hour probably, since we were delayed a little bit, so that was really cool. So that was pretty amazing, and then they gave us breakfast, and then we went on our way from there.
There's a lot of good stuff going on in that bakery, and a lot of it hit close to home, and for me personally, and it was just it was a perfect first point to get to.
And Anthony said he has to do whatever Connie says, and as soon as she made fun of me, I kind of feel like I have to do whatever she says.
I'm Anthony's little brother, and yeah, I was 100% there to support him. I showed up with a bike, and that was my plan, because I too thought it was impractical for me to run a bunch of miles. If I was going to run, I could maybe only run 3 or 4, and I wanted to be with him a lot longer than that. I wanted to be with him for, you know, a good chunk of the day and be there to support him. So I thought by riding the bike I could do that, and then Connie ripped into me almost immediately when she found out I was riding a bike. So I said, Mom, take my helmet, I'm running.
It was very entertaining to be with Anthony because he has all his friends coming in, and his boss comes in and joins us, and then different friends are coming in, and then his brother jumps in with his Air Maxes, and that was just pure entertainment for a good half marathon or more.
And I had Air Maxes on, which I guess are not very suitable to run in, and she made fun of the entire time, which was kind of hysterical. It was an ongoing joke the whole 17 miles I ran. But yeah, I'm so happy I did. I'm so happy that, you know, I kind of suffered the small amount that I did to kind of get a small feeling of what they were going through. And I also got to feel, you know, the joy of overcoming things and pushing through things. And it's on a much smaller scale, but at least, you know, I was there for them, and I was there, you know, trying to help them. All I literally thought of the entire time was, if I bitch about me running my 6 miles and he's on 76, then he's gonna want to choke me, and I couldn't do that to him.
The people all along the way, that's what made it nice also. I got to meet a lot of different people, and you're just running along and these people jump in and they're from all different places, and that's kind of fun. That made it pretty interesting, because you're just, you know, it was the people were spread out along the whole way also.
When we said we were going to do this, and you know, I started realizing we needed, you know, we knew we needed crew and stuff, and my friend Devin said to me, you know, hey, if you need people, if you want help, you know, I'll take the week off work and I'll help you. And I was blown away by that, first of all. I mean, he's my best friend, and just having him there with me and knowing I would see him every 5 miles or 6 miles, whatever it was, you know, that helped me a lot, you know, just knowing, and he was on point with everything, and, you know, he knew what I needed, and just, you know, having someone I'm so familiar with, I've known almost my whole life, and having him there, it just was like, you know, I mean, that was huge for me. It was cool when we would run up, we'd see the car there with the back open. He'd always have the back opened, and you know, stuff outside ready.
What I say with running is, the thing that's nice about it is you're moving forward. So when I was going through a divorce, I would go for a run or go race 100 and win it. And I thought, okay, that gave me a ton of confidence. And I moved forward and I accomplished something. And then the next week, I felt great. It's like, okay, I can figure out how to pay these bills. Like, if I could run 100 miles on Saturday, I think I can do this next week. It's moving forward. You're getting people up and out of their chairs. You're having them move forward. That's a big deal.
When I see other people overcoming their challenges, it just kind of gets me out of my comfort zone a little bit more. You know, you can, you know, ultra running, you do sometimes get into a comfort zone and get into a routine. So it's just good to see that, to say, yeah, let's bump it up a little bit. Let's shake things up. Let's just make a couple of changes to improve what I'm doing with myself and what I'm doing for the people around me.
So Anthony starts to get a little bit tired and stuff, and I'm thinking, you know, maybe we do. Let's get him to a hotel, give him a break, get some rest. It was hot. It was hot, crazy hot. And cool off, air conditioning, he'll regroup, get back on the road, and he'll be fine. So we'll give him a 3 or 4 hour break.
We're mile 84, yeah, around 84. You know, we left Baker Street, which was 67 or so, and I was really struggling. Like, I was hurting, my knee was hurting, and you know, I had so much help, and people, you know, my brother ran, you know, more than he's ever run to help me out, you know. At that point I had Connie and Allie helping me out. Like, that was tremendous. They're awesome, you know, and they're so positive about everything, you know, telling me I'll come out of it, and in my head I'm thinking I'm done.
Sometimes it's something physical, there's an injury or something like that. That's honestly, that's probably easier. I don't want to call that easy, but that's probably easier to deal with than the mental block. You know, when things get tough, it's a real mental struggle, and you really need to rely on, you know, what makes you happy, and go back to the reasons why you do run. I mean, I never started running to race. I never started running to, you know, run Badwater, or to run a certain time in the 100, or to make the national team. Those things just sort of happened because I ran. So you can get lost in that, you know, and, oh, I didn't do well in Badwater this year, and I want to run Spartathlon, and, you know, all these other things. But, I mean, really the reason I run isn't for those races. It's other reasons, and it's important to remember those, I think, when things get tough.
I found a pool in the hotel, went for a little swim, hooked up with his brother and father, had maybe a beer or two. It was nice. got all regrouped. That was fun. That was just fun. It was just a nice little break. It was refreshing, and then tried to get Anthony back up and on the road again.
What's up, John? How are ya? How are you? Imagine.
That was the coolest thing. I mean, seeing everyone coming out was like, I mean, that blew me away. That was the 100% the best thing about this whole run was, I mean, you've seen some of these people that came out, like people I haven't seen in 15 years, like just on the side of the road to see me for like 2 minutes, you know, to help us out, you know, like, and cheer us on, and like the messages I got and stuff like that were like overwhelming to me. Like, you know, people saying, you know, what an inspiration it is. Like, I went out and ran because of this, and I was just like, holy crap, you know, like this is amazing. I had a guy drive from Staten Island, you know, down to South Jersey just to see me at like, I think it was mile 98 for like 3 minutes, you know, like this guy drove all the way out here just for this. I don't know, it brought a lot of people together, and I thought that was, you know, I mean, I think that's the point of this whole thing, but I think that's the thing that kind of amazed me the most. You know, there was times when I thought, I mean, this was the second night, so we've been running through the night two nights in a row. It's like 5:30 in the morning, and I was like, Connie, I can't go. I need 15 minutes of sleep. I'm like, I can't, you know, like, and I remember I was sitting on the cooler, and I got my head down, and like, she comes over, she goes, you're gonna get up, you're gonna drink this, give me like a 5-hour energy, and she goes, you're gonna go, we're gonna go now. She's like, it's gorgeous out now. She's like, it's gonna be hot as hell later. You're gonna get up, we're gonna go now. And I'm like, okay, she is a rock, you know, like mentally. And she showed me that, you know, like I got more than I thought, you know, like my point, part of my reason of doing this whole thing was I want to show people that, you know, you can do more than you think you can, you know, more than you think you can physically and mentally, and she gave me a lesson in that. You know, she showed me that I thought I was tough, and I thought I knew what I was capable of mentally, and she showed me I'm capable of a lot more, and that means like a ton. Like, how can you thank someone enough for that?
Trying to get someone to go further than they should be able to go is tricky, because it, like, yeah, Anthony's long run was, around 90-ish, and then we're trying to double that. And the thing, I mean, I just know, like, through experience, my long run was 50 miles at one time, and I changed it to 100 miles a few weeks later, and then I've doubled up. You know, added 50 miles onto a long run before, and I know it's possible, but to try to motivate someone else to do it, a lot of times it's a lot of heckling, teasing, you know, just you're trying to keep it light, not too serious about things. I know that you have ups and downs. You're going to have ups and downs if you're trying to cover 180 miles, and I'm just kind of, you try to convince them that this is just a little slump, and you are going to feel good again. You should. You know, on the other side, but you have to get there. So it was a little tricky getting him back going again, but yeah, I mean, I just know it's possible because I've been there before. Yeah, there are a lot of ups and downs. People are gonna get pretty bad out there when you're trying to go that far. You're going beyond 100 miles. Something's going to happen. But you can come back. You can come back out of it.
Brother signed me up for a race. That's it.
What's the best memory of that?
I don't know, like finishing it and finishing it with a sense of accomplishment and felt good. And I wanted to do more, you know, like then felt like maybe I could do a marathon. And that, you know, felt even better finishing that. And, you know, that's really it.
So now being here, do you think about that? Do you go to that, like, your bro telling you to do that first race a lot, or?
Yeah, just want to finish, yeah. I mean, just think, you know, I guess it goes back to that, just knowing how it would feel to finish something like this. You know, I know it would be, you know, that time it was 100, you know, like, sense of accomplishment there. And, you know, less people have done this, anything like this, so. But I do think about that, yeah.
All of a sudden, it's just like you start to see Anthony kind of take a turn for the worse, fall apart a little bit, and it was getting a little tricky. I mean, we were a lot of miles in, almost 150 miles in, and stuff's going to happen. And I mean, I knew stuff would happen because I've seen it before because I've run 24-hour races, and it happens to everyone.
Running crazy distances takes a special kind of person, that's for sure. And it's really interesting to find out what motivates people to run those distances. And there's always a story there. I think that's the great thing about ultra runners. There's always a story underneath it. I mean, you know, some people will want to run a half marathon to get in shape, or a 5K, or maybe even a marathon. But to run 184 miles, there's a story underneath there, and one that's worth sharing.
You learned anything from doing this?
Connie's a rock star. She's a fucking rock star. She's a machine. She would finish this thing in no time. I would still be running if it wasn't for her. And also, like, it's just all the people that supported me and stuff. Yeah, here, like, people at work, everything, it's just, it's overwhelming. I don't know. I want to finish it for all them. I want to finish it for Brian. It's got hurt. I want to finish it for me, my kids. I want them to be proud of something like this. Dad, after 2.5 mile stretch, I ended up walking most of it. I'm only running right now. I'm going to see if I can keep going. You can keep going. I'm going to try an ankle brace. Yeah. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. Took longer. That one was 2.5 miles, and that one took a long time. So I couldn't run it, really.
Time doesn't matter, though, does it?
It does matter a little bit to me, because Connie came to help me, and I know she would love to get home, like, as soon as possible, so she's helped me so much. So I want to get her home as soon as possible. She won't leave me. I tried to get her to finish up herself, and I tried to get her to finish up herself and just go home, you know, like, but she won't do it because she said the whole purpose was to come out here and help me. So, you know, she doesn't make me feel, you know, like, she won't even mention it, but I know she wants to. And Devin's daughter is going to school tomorrow, first day of school. I know he'd love to be home for that. He said it's okay too, but I'd love to get him home for that too, because he's helped so much too.
I think you're ready to do it, man. I think you'll do it, man.
If I run like that, I'm not. If it still hurts like that, I'm not gonna get done by tonight. I would love to. Still 60 miles left. I mean, that's, I don't know. I can't do that in 12 hours if I run like that.
Oh, you want to see the blisters? Man,
no, I'm gonna back away just in case one pops.
Oh!
No.
Ah.
How do I get in the club?
No. Surprisingly not. No, it's not bad. I mean, I feel.
It's not bad?
I feel it. You know, like I know it's there, but I just don't.
How do you even run with them? He is.
You know, I've named them now, and they kept me company through the night.
My ankle was swollen, my whole foot was swollen, and you know, I knew it was bad, and we stopped at a Walmart and I got an ankle brace, and I tried to keep going.
But it was a lot harder than that. It wasn't just about the mental toughness that Anthony needed to keep going. This was physical. His knee and his ankle both were shot at this point. And the fact that he could keep going at all amazes me.
No, we're serious. Ryan's running with you today?
Oh, is that his camera? I said we're sure.
Had to have him here some way or another, so we're thinking of him.
Got him down here.
You ready
to go? You got him down there? Yes, sir. Nice. Got some Ryan.
That's awesome, man.
Got some Ryan with me.
Yeah, that's nice. I'll appreciate that.
And he's here too. And here.
Especially there.
Went on another like 5 miles, and I couldn't run anymore, you know, just because every step hurt, and I had to like swing my leg out to the side because it just wasn't, you know, just hurting too bad. So I was reduced to like walking the next like 3 or 4 miles, and then I just, you know, it was the middle of the day, the second day, it was maybe like 2 or 3 o'clock or so in the next day, you know, so this is 137 miles in, and it was just 96, 97 degrees, whatever it was, and I'm just like, well, I have to do something about this ankle. Like I couldn't go on anymore. It wasn't holding my weight. So I said,
we're here at mile 137. Connie's gone ahead. She's killing it. I'm hurting really bad. I spent the last maybe it was like 8 miles just walking with a really bad limp. I tried about 20 times to run again, and it's just I can't. It hurts too bad, so I'm running on about an hour's sleep since Monday morning. So I'm planning on resting, and then hopefully hopefully the knee and my ankle are a little bit better, and I can get back out there. You know, but there's still 50 miles left at least, so around 50 left. So I don't really know if I'll be able to, and so. Give it a go though, you know, I'll be back out there. I want to do this.
You know, I did. I tried to sleep. I iced it, and it was just, you know, it was even worse when I started going again. But at that point, like the second day, my wife had come down, you know, to support us, and my dad was down to support us, and you know, the thing to me was like how all these people came together and did this, and like to having the two of them there. Made it easier for me to let it go and to kind of say, yeah, I'm done. You know, I think I accomplished almost everything I wanted to do with the whole thing, and you know, I hopefully inspired people and brought people together, and the time I had with all those people that came to support us on the side of the road, and my brother being there for like 17 miles, my dad, you know, like being with us for 17 miles, like that's the stuff that was huge, and you know, all the people that supported us was like, I mean, to me that was the biggest thing, like bring people together, inspire people, and you know, I think I did that. You know, I hope I did that.
I know that he's satisfied. You know, I'd said to him, I know that it's hard for him to quit at that point, having put so much into it, and that he would feel disappointed. And he said that he wasn't really that disappointed with himself, you know, and 137 is no slouch, you know, by any stretch of the imagination. And the amount of people that you talk to and say, well, I couldn't run 1 mile, so it's 136 more than I can do. So yeah, I think in spirit the goal is reached, and I think for him, he's very satisfied with what he's done.
I would have loved to finish it. I would have loved to be there at the end, but you know, but I think you know, I was okay with it.
So when it happened to Anthony, it's just kind of like I just did the most I could to encourage him to keep going, but there's only so much you can do, and then I thought, well, I'll just try to wrap this up. But it went from, when I was running with Anthony, it's more like fun. You're running with friends, just like the group run out of the shop or whatever. It's just a nice thing. And then all of a sudden I'm all by myself for I don't know how many miles. But shortly thereafter, the miles got longer just because the entertainment's gone. And, you know, it becomes more work.
Connie Gardner is clearly able to run further than most people can. But that's not entirely what's so inspiring about her. It's that she believes that anyone can do this if they put their mind to it.
The purpose may not have been to finish. I mean, for me, I know that I wasn't meant to finish this. This film, this whole thing, it wasn't meant to be for me. So knowing that I wasn't meant to do what I set out to do, but other people did, brings about pretty much what the film was about.
Obviously, after I left the hospital and I found out the diagnosis and everything, I was in a ton of pain, and I can't take painkillers because of my my past situation. So, you know, they put me on naproxen, and the swelling went down a little bit, but the pain was pretty bad. So, my father took me home. I rested up at home with the kids, and you know, I've been trying to follow along as much as I can. I feel like shit. The throbbing went down. I mean, as long as I don't put weight on it, I'm okay. But apparently this was something that's been, it didn't just happen. It was something that was building up. I mean, during training I did have little bouts of pain there, but I didn't think it was anything. I thought it might have been like a nerve or something. But apparently this was building up. And as long as I stay off of it 8 to 10 weeks and we revisit the injury and I go back to the doctor, they're going to see if, because their surgery could be it could be something that needs to be done. We're hoping it doesn't. So, we'll see.
Okay. I hope I can run and finish this thing up.
You think it's a little easier for you to do because you're like, you do this a lot?
Broken down for, oh, that's so nice.
Or is it just as hard because it's so far?
It's not easy for, look at me. I look like shit.
I think you look awesome.
No.
I keep looking at you running. I go, she looks in charge. I have nothing to throw.
All right, here.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
It's a rough day.
For the most part, running across New Jersey, it was absolutely beautiful. It was much more beautiful than, I mean, I like New Jersey. A lot of people think, when they think New Jersey, they think Newark. And Newark, that should be given to New York, I think. I think New Jersey, if you get rid of Newark, New Jersey is beautiful. So the rolling hills and stuff was fine. The homes were fine. We went through beautiful little towns. It was great. And the course itself, everything moved along pretty nicely.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we probably got it right.
Any electrolyte pills? I thought I saw them over there.
You can see that bin behind you. Your stuff. Can you use the nut?
So what do we have left? 35 miles? We're almost down to a 50K? 2 o'clock?
It's 3 o'clock.
Is the heat really affecting you at this point?
The humidity is really affecting me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just being, I think just having
Yeah, you're here right now.
1 hour sleep in 3
At
days.
some point, I guess there's gonna be a split.
I was fucking around. Yeah, I didn't really sleep. I had a beer. You know, when he texted Nat. That was probably one of the highlights of the trip. If anyone was going to run that far, well, doesn't it sound good to stop and have a beer? Like, what are you thinking? Come on. You're drinking water all day. You get sick of drinking water. Beer makes you feel like just nice and relaxed, and it's not tense. And I was hanging out with cool people.
She told me I should have slept, but I had a beer instead.
That sounds like Connie. So she's one of a kind, and it's pretty incredible to see what she's doing right now.
Shot a couple times.
You all right?
Yeah. Where is she? She just left.
A few minutes ago.
Awesome. All right, that's good.
She's nuts. She's hammering.
Is she?
Oh yeah.
Well, how like that?
She's pretty dehydrated. I think when she gets dehydrated, she picks up the pace.
Does she?
Yeah.
I mean,
No, right?
she was
going
still at
hard.
9:30s, 9:40s pressure on
Jesus
it,
Christ. She's unbelievable.
Yeah, what's the deal?
She doesn't
My
take
ankle?
a lot.
It's from your knee down your ankle?
This. And this is just done. Like,
is that your tibia?
No, I don't think so. Tibia's in the front, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm a freaking doctor. I'm afraid it's like ACL or MCL. You know, like it's just, it's
so
not.
The pain's from the knee down there.
Yeah. Well, it's really, no, it's here and down there. Like, not all the way down.
Yeah, it's definitely swollen on your ankle.
Oh, this is
my ankle's all red.
Oh, my ankle's a mess. People have asked me too since, like, are you going to go back and try it again and stuff like that. And I honestly had such a wonderful experience, like with, you know, like Connie and my family and everyone being there, that like I don't think I can match that experience. To me, there's no way. So I said I won't do it again, but I want to go back and start where I left off and finish it. So I will do that.
I do plan on going back, but that's the fighter in me, knowing damn well that this is gonna eat me alive till I do it.
No problem. You did awesome.
Thank
Seriously.
You, man. Thank you. Yeah.
Stay in touch, you guys. Let me know how you guys are doing.
And then training.
It's really our house.
All right.
Yeah. So that was a nice stretch, but I gotta kind of still cool down.
Yeah.
Try to let my pizza settle, right? The pizza that's the best and the worst. That's like the best. It tasted fantastic. I thought it was a really good idea. This is great. A meal. This is fine. I ate a piece of pizza. It tasted great. So I ate another piece of pizza, and then it was just hot, and I was trying to get back into running, and it didn't want to stay down. That was tough. That was a tough point. But all in all, it was a pretty good experience.
I saw the stress on her face, and I could tell how things were changing. And so I figured, why not get out and just run a few miles with her. Making this film has changed my life. I became a runner. I never thought in a million years I would run. I thought it was ridiculous. But something overcame me. Seeing how happy people were, and you know, it just made me want to do it. And now, not only me, but my wife also runs. And currently, we're getting ready to run our third half marathon. I think that says a lot for this film. These people changed me. They made me want to do something that I'd be proud of, to strive for something greater.
I think she's kind of a leader and a motivator. I felt like dropping the bike and starting to run because it seemed like a wimpy way to go through this experience, but I know it was more practical for me. I think she's an incredible woman, and I think she inspired my son, certainly my other son. I think she's a very determined woman, and I think it's remarkable that she would take the time to see somebody else's goal, because this wasn't her goal, and travel from Ohio to New Jersey to get this done. So to me, I think she's a remarkable woman in herself.
Connie, you can see on my face, Connie is somebody that truly, I have never met anyone like her in my life. I seriously could not say enough about her. And you hear that a lot when people talk, but genuinely, I cannot say enough good things about her. She's just a rad person.
It was nice. It was nice getting to know all you guys, everybody together. It was an interesting thing to do. It was pretty funny, because if you think about it, we're all very different personalities, and we would never cross paths if you hadn't done something ridiculous like this. I was happy. Yeah, I'm happy I did it. It's nice. Now I've run across Ohio and New Jersey. About 48 more to go.
Would you ever run across New Jersey again?
Yes. Sure. Maybe.
you set your goals high enough and you try to, you know, do something pretty amazing, and, you know, it reaches people. It really does.
You know, I could have a pity party all I want, but the fact of the matter is, we made a difference in people's lives that were a part of it, and we saw it, and we felt it.
This journey took us to many amazing locations. It allowed us to meet some of the most amazing people with the best outlooks on life that you could ever meet.
And we got to meet people all around the country that were so passionate about running, and it was such a great experience.
And it changed all of our lives for the better. In the end, there is no big finish. It was quiet, and then we just left for home. No medals, no shirt, just a memory and new friendships.
Nothing comes nothing. Multiply it by what you please, because they're completely vacant. So utterly vacant the eyes become, relying on something, scraping up every bit of change, turning pockets inside out, till it's finally light out, the morning's come. Was it that something you needed, confused with something you want? It's like a pot of gold drop out of the sky. Let's keep our head in the clouds, keep our head in the clouds. You shouldn't think the world's holding out, don't let your mind go to doubt. Remember what I'm telling you, let's keep our head in the clouds, keep our head in the clouds. You shouldn't think the world's holding out, don't let your mind go to doubt. Remember what I'm telling you, let's keep our head in the clouds.
Connie, this is Ryan Donnelly from 184 Film. Good. We're at 560. We're at your address. Oh, you're not?
The skies may be cloudy, but they are not here to just make rain, but to color the sunset. I don't mind if I get wet, it's worth the pain. Take a full silver lining, mining out every bit I can, till my fingers are bleeding and my heart barely beating. That's just who I am. Sometimes something I needed, confused with something I want. It's like a pot of gold drop out of the sky. Let's keep our head in the clouds, keep our head in the clouds. You shouldn't think the world's holding out, don't let your mind go to doubt. Remember what I'm telling you, let's keep our head in the clouds, keep our head in the clouds. landscape our head in the clouds, looking for another satellite. Looking for another satellite.